In our world, there are many stories and events that the human mind may not be able to believe, but in reality, these stories are true. When you read such stories, you feel terrified, as if the blood freezes in your veins from the horror of the events that you read about. They are haunted places from which no one emerges. Someone who entered it actually exists. Around the world, we find many of these places that everyone warns against approaching. Our appointment today is through the Realistic Stories website with a variety of the most wonderful realistic horror stories that are very scary and real. We hope that you will like these stories. It is said that a long time ago there was a girl named Jessie. Jessie was always being bullied by her classmates at school because she stuttered a little. As for Jessie, she was very shy and unable to respond to those who bullied her on a daily basis, despite the continued harassment towards Jessie, but she did not pay any attention to it. At the same time, Jessie wished they would stop such behavior, which made Jessie feel sad all the time. The situation remained as it was for several months, and Jessie's classmates were still bullying her at school. Jessie did not have the ability to complain about these students to the school principal or to her family. For this reason, the harassment of Jessie continued without stopping. One day, one of Jessie's colleagues proposed a proposal that if Jessie did this, everyone would stop bullying Jessie. The proposal was that Jessie goes to a cemetery located near the village in the middle of the night of the full moon. Of course, Jessie felt very afraid, but at the same time, she wants to make her colleagues stop bullying her. In the end, Jessie was forced to agree to her colleague's request and decided that the students would meet in front of the cemetery gate at midnight. Despite Jessie's extreme fear, she was only thinking about making these students stop bullying her. The appointed time came and the students gathered in front of the cemetery gate with Jessie with them. The atmosphere was very terrifying, especially since it was winter at this time. The sky was overcast as if we were living inside a horror movie, so frightening that it made the blood freeze in the veins. What's terrifying about it is not only the frightening atmosphere, but also the reputation of the cemetery, which revolves around a lot of rumors. It has been said that ghosts spread in this cemetery every full moon night. Jessie entered the cemetery alone, and all the students were looking at her and asking her to advance further until Jessie screamed at the top of her voice. Immediately, all the students fled, leaving Jessie alone. The next morning, while Jessie's family was looking for her because she had not returned home, they found Jessie's lifeless body in the cemetery, her clothes torn, and her face looking like she had seen something frightening and terrifying to the utmost degree. The events of this story revolve around a house inhabited by a family of 5 people. One day, while the family was eating dinner, the doorbell rang. The eldest girl went to see who was knocking, but when the girl approached the door, she noticed something strange on the stairs inside the house. It was this stairs. It leads to the basement, where the girl noticed that there was a girl wearing a black dress stained with blood, looking at her with a frightening look and smiling. The girl looked carefully. Perhaps what she saw was just illusions, but she actually realized that what she saw was reality. That girl's train of thought was interrupted by the doorbell that rang again. The girl spent that night thinking about what she saw, especially since the family had bought this house only a few days ago. The next day, the girl saw the same scene again. Here, the girl decided to tell her mother about what she saw, but her mother did not believe it. In the beginning, the girl used to see the ghost in only one place, and when she was alone, but now things are completely different. After the girl told her mother, she began to see the ghost almost everywhere around the house, even if she was not alone. And the ghost, which is in the form of a girl as we mentioned, began to look at the girl with a look of extreme anger. Perhaps the reason for this look was the girl's conversation with her mother. One day, while the family was eating breakfast, they noticed that the older girl was not there. Mother went to her daughter's room to wake her up and see the reason. She was not present at the breakfast table in the morning. As soon as the mother entered the room, she saw what was unbelievable. Her daughter was a lifeless corpse without a head. The corpse was as if frozen in terror, and the daughter was pointing at the ceiling. It seemed very clear that the girl saw something on the ceiling of the room, and this thing was responsible for her death. The mother remembered her daughter's words about seeing a ghost in the house and decided to tell the father. The father began asking the residents surrounding the house about the history of the house, and it was a big surprise, as the father learned that the house was home to a man who practiced magic. But this magician decided to stop these practices, and this led to his death at the hands of the jinn. In the end, the family decided to move from this house and live away from the village.